This is your complete guide to the city of Toronto. I'll show you everything from how to get to the city from the airport, the best attractions, using the public transportation system, the amazing food that you'll eat here, the fantastic sports teams that play there, the quirky museums, the sights, and everything else you need to know to have the most amazing time in Canada's largest city. Welcome to Toronto, Canada, a city that's full of exciting adventures, amazing attractions, and death-defying experiences. Whether you're here for a quick visit or a long stay, this is the ultimate bucket list guide to help you explore the best that this city has to offer. Firstly, let's have a look at a map of Toronto, and you'll realise that every attraction is everywhere. It's a massive city, and you'll need public transportation to get to some of these places. That said, this guide will group attractions into specific areas, so you can visit attractions one after another, and you're not traversing the city many times over. I'll leave detailed instructions on how to get into the city from its two airports, and how to use the public transport system towards the end of the video. But in all honesty, it's not too dissimilar to every other major city in the world. Now that you've arrived, I suppose I better start by telling you about this thing right here. The CN Tower, the most recognisable landmark in the city, and one of the world's tallest freestanding structures. Once you pay for your ticket and go through security, you'll take a 1-minute glass elevator ride to the observation deck, where you'll get the best views in the city. Especially on a nice day like it is today, you can see for miles in every direction. If you make a reservation for the 360-degree revolving restaurant and spend at least $75 a head, the cost of the ride up is free. It's a cool observation deck where you can lean over the glass or terrify yourself walking on the glass floor. It makes for some cool photo opportunities. Pay a few dollars more and you'll go to the highest observation deck in the world, this bit right here. Admittedly, it's not much different to the observation deck in terms of views, and there's not much to do once you're up there. So if you're trying to save a bit of money, avoid this bit. If you're brave enough, and you have the cash, try going outside and hanging off the CN Tower. Yes, this is the Edgewalk, where you get harnessed up, walk around the tower's edge, which is 1,168 feet above the ground, and then proceed to hang off the damn thing. The views are unbeatable, and the experience was super cool. So if you are interested, I'll be making a separate video to let you know what it's like, from booking it to going up there and doing this. Seems scary, but this was definitely one of the highlights of my trip. Right next door is one of my favourite places in Toronto, the Rogers Centre. Recently renovated, this giant stadium is home to the city's beloved baseball team, the Toronto Blue Jays. One of the coolest places I've ever been to catch a ball game, this stadium has a retractable roof, so you can enjoy a game inside or under the open sky with this tremendous view of the CN Tower next door. I'd say that even if you're not a baseball fan, this is worth about $20 to check out a game one time. And if you are a baseball fan, you'll absolutely love it here. I'll make a separate video about it if anyone's interested, but I recommend that you experience a game here one time in your life, if you do come during baseball season. Hey, that's me on the big screen. A nice family-friendly attraction is right next door to both the CN Tower and the Rogers Centre. Ripley's Aquarium of Canada. It's a fun one for the kids and if you have a family to entertain. It's a giant aquarium where you can see plenty of different kinds of fish. You can walk through the glass tunnel to see sharks and turtles and luminous jellyfish swim all around you. You can even pet stingrays if you want to. It's okay, they don't actually sting you. It's a magical underwater experience, but admittedly, if you have been to a large aquarium previously, Ripley's isn't anything massively different to what you've seen before. Still worth it if you have kids though. You'll notice this circular building right outside. This is the former Toronto train yard, with remnants of its railway past everywhere you go. These old trains are fun to look at, and it's a pretty cool place to explore. You could go inside the Toronto Railway Museum right here, but admittedly, the more interesting stuff is outside, which you can see for free anyway. Again, it's a very family-friendly place. The famous Steam Whistle Brewery is on these grounds, and if you're a beer drinker, a pint from the tap room comes highly recommended. You can also do tours of the distillery if that's your thing. A short walk away is the other famous sports venue in the city. This is Scotiabank Arena, home of the city's favourite ice hockey team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the basketball team, the Toronto Raptors. Tickets for both games are highly sought after, and you'll enjoy a game day experience watching basketball or ice hockey here. I'm a huge fan of all the Toronto sports teams, and this is certainly something I'd recommend if it is indeed hockey or basketball season. Again, I'll make a separate video about it if anyone's interested, but given that the Leafs are the most famous ice hockey team in the world, it's something you just can't say no to. This arena is also the main concert venue in the city, so always check to see what's going on when you arrive. Whilst we're speaking about ice hockey, the sport's premier museum is literally down the street. This is the Hockey Hall of Fame. If you're a fan of the sport, this museum is fantastic. This is where you can see the history of legendary players, game-worn paraphernalia, goalie masks, and interactive exhibits. You can even test your skills against virtual NHLers. In shooting, I did pretty good, and in goalkeeping, which I did great at, but some people are pretty hopeless. The best part of the Hockey Hall of Fame is going into the trophy vault and seeing the most iconic trophy in all of sports. The Holy Grail itself, the Stanley Cup. I'll make a separate video right here to show you exactly what it's like. But if you don't like hockey, how about food? You like to eat, right? Well, at this point of the video, I'll tell you that Toronto is a foodie paradise. There's no corner of the city where you can't find food that you will love. Some of the must-try food items that I recommend include beaver tails, a sheet of fried dough with your choice of sweet toppings. It's pretty amazing, especially in winter. Poutine, which is French-Canadian fries with cheese curds and hot gravy. Definitely comfort food. And Canadian ice wine, made from frozen grapes down the road in Niagara. You can find these throughout most of the city, but if you're after specific foodie places, there's two I recommend. The first is St. Lawrence Market. Located down the street from the Hockey Hall of Fame, famous for its fresh produce, fancy wines, amazing seafood, caviar, poutine, chicken, maple syrup covered everything. Basically anything that's delicious that you've never had before, I guarantee that you'll find it here. The market itself is very retro. It harkens back to the old days where people used to come to places like this to hang out and eat. And it's good to know that it still exists here in Toronto. The other place is Kensington Market, which I'll cover later in the video. Keep walking past St. Lawrence Market and you'll come across the Distillery District. Built on the site of Toronto's old distilleries, the best way I can describe this is that it's a very trendy, almost hipster-like hangout spot. It's full of quirky shops, unique photo opportunities, and some amazing bars and restaurants. And you'll find all of this whilst you wander through cobblestone streets, browse in art galleries, sip coffee inside cozy cafes. It's definitely worth having a look if you're into spending the afternoon chilling out in rather strange surroundings. Walk back into town and you'll come across St. James's Cathedral. It's a stunning 19th century Gothic Revival church with a beautiful garden. It's perfect for a quiet prayer moment in the middle of this bustling city. If churches aren't your thing, go west to historic Fort York. It's a free museum dedicated to Toronto's military history. The grounds are fun to walk around. You'll see cannons, the preserved barracks, and you can watch reenactments of soldiers firing old muskets. I recommend that if you have time, take a free guided tour where they'll bring the history of this place alive. Given that this is a free attraction, it's worth an hour or two to explore. If you're after something a little bit more exciting, head on over to Ontario Place. Next door is the Coca-Cola Coliseum. It's a lively venue where you'll see live music or the Toronto Marlies, the other hockey team in town. So if you want to experience ice hockey at cheap prices, this is the place to go. But then you'll notice this thing here in the middle of it all. BMO Field, the other large outdoor stadium here in the city. It houses the soccer team, Toronto FC, and the Canadian football team, the Toronto Argonauts. As a huge Argonauts fan, I would recommend coming to a game here. It's different to American football, and I think it's better. It's a fantastic match atmosphere. The presentation is slick, the crowds are hostile and friendly at the same time, and overall, Nin, will you shut up about the sports teams already? Hey, what can I say? I do love the teams here, and you'll have fun watching any of them. That's the last time I mention sports in this video, I promise. To change the subject a little, let's leave the city of Toronto completely and explore Toronto's nicest green space, the Toronto Islands. These are the 3 islands that are off the coast of downtown Toronto. The only way to get here is to get on the ferry at Jack Layton Ferry Terminal, located south of the Scotiabank Arena. It'll cost you about $8 for a return ticket, and there are 3 boats that take you to the different islands. Most people go to Centre Island, and I'll explain why shortly. The boat ride itself will give you amazing views of the Toronto skyline as you sail towards the islands. So this is probably worth the price of the ferry alone, and there are 3 main islands that I recommend that you explore. The first is Hanlan's Point, home to Toronto City Airport, aka Billy Bishop Airport. If you're lucky enough to fly in and out of here, it's right next to the city. It's a lovely green space that's also home to a nudist beach. I'm not kidding, clothing is completely optional here. Most people that come to the islands visit Centre Island, as it's the place with the most to do. Whether it's the amusement park for the kids, lots of junk food places, a nice beach, an amazing pier, great outdoor eateries, some beautiful formal gardens, it's definitely the most family-friendly of all the islands. This is also the place where you'll get that famous photograph of the Toronto skyline, particularly at sunset or nighttime. If you only have a short amount of time, visit Centre Island. The last of the 3 islands is Ward's Island. Compared to the other 2, it's a lot quieter and there's not much to do here, but the beach is nice, and this is where the residents of the Toronto Islands actually live. It's the best picnicking and cycling spot, and there's plenty of places to hire bikes, boats, or whatever this weird contraption is here to get around all 3 islands, as they're all interconnected. Because it's quieter, it's also a nice romantic spot with this gorgeous view of the city. So once you've enjoyed a nice afternoon on the islands, get back on the boat, come back to dry land, and let's explore this long street here. Spadina Avenue. It's a bustling area that's home to some great restaurants and nightclubs, but the main thing that you'll find on Spadina is Chinatown. Toronto's Chinatown is one of the largest in North America, a place where you can feast on Chinese food, browse the shops, and take in the lively atmosphere. I'll admit, I was dragged kicking and screaming around this place as a child, so I don't have fond memories of this place, but it's nice to explore if you like that sort of thing. Just off Spadina, you'll find the world-famous Kensington Market. This is the other foodie paradise in the city, and probably the most eclectic and colourful area of town. Kensington Market is a must-visit area if you like browsing through vintage shops, looking at street art, walking around old houses, or eating amazing food from around the world. This place has it all, and it's incredibly lively. I have the best takoyaki here, aka octopus dumplings, better than the ones from actual Japan, and every colourful house here serves up something different. It's definitely worth a morning to explore. One street away, you'll find the Art Gallery of Ontario. If you love art, you'll love it in here. The Art Gallery of Ontario houses over 90,000 works of art, from budding Canadian artists to seeing world-famous paintings. Quite a lot of the floors here were contemporary or modern art, which really isn't my thing, but this is worth an afternoon to explore if you like art, paintings, sculptures, or anything like that. The next place you'll come across is Nathan Phillips Square. This is the place to snap that iconic Toronto photo, with the fountains, the illuminated Toronto sign, and in the winter, the square turns into an ice skating rink. Currently, it's the end of summer, so it's a nice place to just chill out. That thing behind it is City Hall. It looks impressive from the outside, but inside, there's nothing really there. Unless you're here to see the mayor, she wasn't in when I visited, don't bother going inside. The old building right next to it is Old City Hall. This beautiful, historic building, with its towering clock and Gothic design, is one of Toronto's most iconic landmarks. It's been around for over 100 years, but like New City Hall, there's not much to see or do inside. It's actually a working court building, so you're restricted to this area only. Stunning stained glass windows and beautiful staircases though. Now, if you like shopping, this is definitely the city for you. The main area where people come to shop is the city's largest shopping mall, the world-famous Eaton Centre. With over 230 stores, it's a nice shopping mall for sure. Admittedly, it's probably no different to any other large shopping mall in your home country. But the big difference is that the Eaton Centre is connected to one of the longest shopping streets in the world. The thing you have to know about Toronto is that it's the world's largest underground city. And when you walk around, you'll see signs for something called the Path. This is the network of underground streets that connects the Eaton Centre all the way down to the harbourfront. And even if it's terribly cold and wet outside, you can walk the path in your slippers and pyjamas around miles of shops, bars and restaurants. You can avoid the freezing cold snow and ice outside and still get around the city with ease on the path. Pretty cool, huh? All you need to do is look out for the signs for the path and spend a few hours exploring this underground labyrinth. I recommend that you follow the path to Yonge Dundas Square. Located directly outside the Eaton Centre, it's like Toronto's version of Times Square in New York. With its giant LED screens, theatres, and there's always something going on. It's buzzing with people, so if you're after the bright lights and big city, this is the place. I watched a musical here, and the tickets are way cheaper than in New York or in London. Yonge Dundas Square is located on Yonge Street. This is the longest street in all of North America, stretching from Toronto to Minnesota in the United States. So I highly advise that you don't walk the entire length of it, unless of course you've got months of time to spare. History lovers will love the nearby Mackenzie House. This museum was home to Toronto's first mayor, William Lyon Mackenzie. Walk through the house to experience what life was like in the 1800s, and it's like stepping back in time. Given that it's free, it's worth about 30 minutes of your day to explore. Nearby is St. Michael's Cathedral, a stunning Catholic church that's over 170 years old. It's peaceful and gorgeous, one of the nicer Catholic cathedrals I've been to. I particularly love the rose-shaped stained glass windows in here. If you're after something a little bit different, head north to the BATA Shoe Museum. It's exactly as the name implies. It's a museum about shoes, from the history of shoes to the evolution of them. You'll discover over 13,000 pairs of shoes from all around the world. From ancient footwear to celebrity shoes to whatever the hell that is, this museum is definitely unique if you're into that sort of thing, or if you have some kind of foot fetish. One street away, you'll find Canada's largest and most famous museum, the Royal Ontario Museum. Think of it as a large natural history museum. It's packed with everything from dinosaur bones to ancient Egyptian artifacts, Chinese antiquities, valuable gemstones and rocks, a $1 million solid gold coin, which I suspect is worth more than that now, given that 100 kilos of gold is roughly 11.6 million Canadian dollars today. The building itself is a work of art, and that's not including all the stuffed animals you'll see, and you'll be seeing a lot of them. It's a very family-friendly attraction, and if you have time, I recommend going on a free of charge guided tour. If you're after something a little bit more historic, I recommend visiting the most beautiful stately home in Canada. This is Casa Loma. This incredible castle, once owned by Sir Henry Pellet, this is him by the way, is the largest private residence ever constructed in Canada. It's an amazing example of medieval and modern mixed together to create something unique. Inside, you'll find incredible great halls, Edwardian bedrooms, modern-ish bathrooms, libraries, dining rooms, the castle towers have some great views over the city of Toronto, and it's a wonderful place to get married. Everything that you'll typically find in a stately home. But it also has secret tunnels that leads to corpses, decapitated heads, skeletons, the Bride of Dracula, Vin Diesel, and a whole bunch of other famous waxwork figures. A stable that's now full of classic cars. It's just a little bit random. So if you're bored of looking at opulent stately home stuff, have a walk around some dead people, some waxy people, or just enjoy the formal gardens outside. Especially as it comes with lots of flowers, this rather nice fountain, and lovely places to eat your dinner. This place is eclectic, but totally worth visiting. If looking at Sarah Jessica Parker has scared you off for good, then I recommend that you go to High Park, the largest park in the city. Full of hiking trails, beautiful gardens, and it's the perfect place for a picnic or a peaceful walk. Toronto Zoo is also worth visiting if you like live animals, not the dead ones in Royal Ontario Museum. It's a lovely zoo, though this is way out of the city, so you might have to get public transport or an Uber to go there. And finally, I highly recommend taking a 2-hour trip to Niagara Falls. This world-famous waterfall is absolutely breathtaking. You can take a boat tour to get up close and personal, or just enjoy the mist from the viewing platforms above. I won't talk too much about it now because I'll be making a separate video on it right here, but suffice to say that you need to watch this video and add this as part of your trip. Overall, Toronto is a city I'm proud to call my second home. Start planning your trip now and I guarantee you won't regret it. Okay Nin, I'm sold. What do I need to do? Well, you need to come here to Toronto. There's 2 airports here in Toronto, but most likely the main airport you'll fly into is Toronto Pearson International Airport. It's quite some distance away from the downtown area, and the easiest way to get into the city is to follow the signs that say trains to the city. These trains are located in Terminal 1, so if you've arrived at another terminal, like me, you might have to get on the free monorail to reach Terminal 1. From there, get on the Union Pearson Express train, also known as the Up train. Tap in with your contactless credit or debit card, and in just 25 minutes, you'll find yourself at Union Station, in the heart of downtown Toronto. Alternatively, if you're flying into Toronto City Airport, also known as Billy Bishop Airport, take the free of charge shuttle bus that will also take you to Union Station in less than 20 minutes. Union Station is the main transit hub for the city, and you can take public transport to anywhere else in the city, or the rest of Canada and the United States from here. To get around the city quickly, use Toronto's transit system known as the TTC. This includes the subway, the buses, and the streetcars, and it's honestly no different to any other mass transit system around the world. You can fill up a Presto card using one of these machines. Do this if you want a day or monthly pass, but the simplest way is just to tap in with your own contactless credit or debit card and away you go. It's really that easy. Rides cost $3.30 each, with free transfers to other forms of transport. And I recommend that if you plan on using public transport a lot, buy a Presto card from one of the machines if you need an unlimited day or month pass. Otherwise, just use your contactless credit card or debit card instead. You do need to tap your card on every mode of transport you use, otherwise you might face a fine. The public transit system, with its streetcars, buses and subway, appears to be complicated. But once you've figured out that the subway generally goes from north to south, and that the streetcars generally go from east to west, you can instinctively figure out how to get from point A to point B in a snap. It's actually surprisingly easy. The cost? It's pretty typical for a major North American city, nowhere near as expensive as New York, but certainly not cheap. The most expensive things are eating out and attending sports events, so if you're on a budget, there are plenty of free and low-cost attractions here. most of which have been covered in this video. If you're looking for a place to stay, I have some bad news for you. Hotel prices in Canada are expensive, especially here in Toronto. I recommend that if there's a group of you, avoid the hotels and consider forking out for your own apartment condo, with your own kitchen, bathroom and separate bedrooms. It seems counterintuitive, but it'll save you a whole boatload of money. Please find a place next to Union Station, as it's easy to get around the city from here. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes. The official language here is English, but most people who work service jobs, i.e. in hotels etc., are bilingual in both English and French. So if you're a French speaker, you'll be absolutely fine here. Like most North American cities, people working in the service industry expect tips, so please bring a little bit of extra cash for tipping. Also, prices listed here do not include tax, so you'll be paying a variable rate of tax for everything that you buy here in Canada. In general, add 13% to every price that you see. Unlike in Europe, you cannot buy alcohol in any supermarket or shop for private consumption. You'll need to visit a specific shop called an LCBO, which is government run and handles all the private sale of alcohol outside of a licensed pub, bar or sports event. Cannabis is legal here, and there are plenty of shops that sell this stuff if you're into that sort of thing. More and more places are becoming cashless, so please ensure that you have 1 or 2 working contactless credit or debit cards. And finally, as a tourist here, you must carry a proper government issued ID and or a visa at all times. If you have found this video helpful in planning your trip to Toronto, please share this video on your social media, like and subscribe for more travel guides from around the world. Tweet me if you want to see guides for another city or destination. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.
That's it! Yes!
Thank you.
Very nice. You want to keep hanging out?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Just getting a video of that. You happy, Nick?
Always.
Wessel's Pretzels. Oh, I've missed you so. Okay, this is a weird addition to a stately home, but okay, that's somebody's severed head in a bowl. Weird.